Hello everyone, David here, and welcome to the final installment in my picks and predictions for this year's Academy Awards 2015. And of course, we're going to be tackling the last few categories, the big categories: Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Picture. And my god, this is probably going to be the most difficult video, and hopefully it's not going to be the longest, but man, there were some choices in here that I had to make because it's moments like this where I feel like I wish I could have skipped out on a few of these movies because then my decisions would have been a little easier. But we got to get this thing going, so let's get started. First category, Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role. The nominees are Julianne Moore for Still Alice, Felicity Jones for The Theory of Everything, Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl, Reese Witherspoon for Wild, and Marion Cotillard for 2 Days, One Night, who I will not be able to comment on because I did not see her movie, and it wasn't for lack of trying because this is like a foreign movie. I think it's like a Belgian movie. So obviously, how in the hell am I going to be able to watch this thing? So obviously, she is automatically out, so I have to pick amongst these four young, beautiful women, some who were kind of de-beautifulized in these movies. But this is tough because all of them gave stellar performances. If I was to eliminate one almost immediately, it would be Felicity Jones, because as great as her performance was, she wasn't somewhat in the same league as these other actresses. And now this is where it gets tough, because I just recently watched Still Alice, and Julianne Moore was great. She started off kind of alright, but then as the movie went on and certain circumstances started happening in the story, which I almost don't really want to spoil for you, she then became even greater and greater in her performance. And I'll go ahead and say this: she's definitely the Oscar pick because she is the front runner. She's the favorite. She's been winning everything so far. She is likely to get one. If I was to bet money, I would say Julianne Moore for Still Alice. But who would I want to win? I just recently watched Reese Witherspoon in Wild 2, and she was also great. There were moments where she did things that she usually doesn't do in the roles that she takes. You know, Reese Witherspoon, you know, she's usually kind of cute and ditzy. Well, not ditzy because that makes it sound insulting, but she's very, you know, she's mostly colorful and cute, and she takes those kind of roles where she's kind of perky and very cheery, so to speak. But in this role, man, she just completely flips that inside out, and she's perfect. However, I'm gonna have to go with someone who I consider to be somewhat of a newcomer that blew me away because I wasn't expecting this from her, and I'm like, wow. Especially the twists and turns that not only her character takes, but the movie itself that she's in takes. My pick will have to be Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl, who just, without going into spoilers, just made me feel different than what I was thinking I was going to feel going into that movie. Like, holy shit. Now, it's likely that she's not going to win because she's somewhat of a newcomer, and don't get me wrong, I really like it that Julianne Moore is likely to win the Oscar for Still Alice, because after watching that movie, I was like, okay, yeah, I would definitely not mind her winning. But here's to hoping that Rosamund Pike takes some more roles in which she will shine even more and gain more opportunities to take gold someday. Next up, Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role. The nominees are Michael Keaton for Birdman, Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything, Benedict Cumberbatch for The Imitation Game, Steve Carell for Foxcatcher, and Bradley Cooper for American Sniper. Again, really tough category here because I just wish I hadn't seen some of these movies because then it'll make my decision even easier. I guess if I had to cancel one out immediately, Steve Carell for Foxcatcher, because as creepy as he was, there was nothing in there that made me feel for the character all that much. You know, it was just a little shallower than the other performances. Not shallow, just shallower. You know how they say. Okay. Anyways, then it gets tough because Eddie Redmayne was great. You know, there were moments where I felt a little choked up for his character, as well as Benedict Cumberbatch, Bradley Cooper, Michael Keaton. God, this is tough. Again, much like with Best Actress, let me go ahead and get the Oscar pick out of the way, which is likely going to be Michael Keaton because he's a veteran actor. He's that actor that has been in the game the longest, actually, out of all these nominees. He's the one who has been here since early 80s, maybe late 70s, doing his craft, and I think that the Academy will reward him as some form of lifetime achievement kind of award, even though they do have their own lifetime achievement Oscar. They're going to interpret that with giving him the Best Actor Oscar. But my pick, God, this is tough. This is really, really tough because I loved all these performances, even Michael Keaton's, and I wouldn't have one single problem with him winning. I won't. But if I had to pick somebody, it would probably be Benedict Cumberbatch for Imitation Game because there were moments where he generally made me want to cry because of the things that his character went through, especially during that particular time period. That just makes you go, wow, that's fucked up. And knowing that he contributed immensely to the world to the World Trade Center, to World War II, and nobody even knew about it until like the 90s, 80s or 90s or so, because at the end of the movie they said this whole thing was classified for like 50 years. It's a bit of a tragedy. That whole entire story is a tragedy, and asserting the fact that it's also true, unlike Birdman, it's also true. That made me resonate with the character even more. And I know I use that word an awful lot, resonate, but I really do mean it when it comes to Cumberbatch's performance. And like I said, I'm choosing him because I have to pick one. But if I could pick a lot of them, it would be definitely Benedict. Bradley Cooper as Chris Kyle, he was also great. There's even a gut punch at the end of the movie that made me go, oh, no. And, of course, Michael Keaton, who I wouldn't mind at all winning the Oscar this year. And now, The Piece of Resistance. Yeah. But the final category for my picks and predictions for this year's Academy Awards, and, of course, the last category in the ceremony itself, Best Picture. The nominees are Birdman, Boyhood, Selma, The Theory of Everything, The Imitation Game, Grand Budapest Hotel, American Sniper, and Whiplash. So I'm just going to do it. You know, I was complaining about it this entire video, and I was wishing I could do it, but you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to do it with this category. I'm actually going to take 4 picks, meaning out of these 4 picks, if any of them win, I have absolutely no problem, because they were just that much of amazing movies. Because and a number of them, actually a couple of them, are in my top 10. And then the other 2 are movies that if I can go back in time and put them in my top 10, I would. I would legitimately find a way to squeeze them in there somehow. And those 4 movies are, of course, Birdman, Grand Budapest Hotel, Whiplash, and Imitation Game. Those are the 4 movies that I wish I could, if either one of them win for Best Picture, which I gotta be honest, I don't think they will, I would be completely happy. And out of those 4, the 2 that I wish I can go back and put in my top 10 are Whiplash and Imitation Game. The one that came close, but not just there, would be Selma, because I saw that movie a few weeks back and it was really, really good. It was really, really good. If I was to go back into my top 10, I wouldn't put it in my top 10, but it would definitely have been in my honorable mentions. It would definitely have been in there. In fact, this probably would have been the number 11 movie. You know what I mean? Like that one movie that could have made the cut, but it just didn't. However, if I am to predict what movie the Oscars are going to go with based on not only all the awards it's been winning, but also because of the buzz surrounding this movie, considering how long it took to make, of course, that pick would have to be Boyhood. Boyhood looks to be the front runner for Best Picture, mainly because of, like I said, it took 12 years to make. It would be very harsh for the Academy not to reward them after all that hard work. And I liked that technique in the movie. But if you guys remember in my top 10 video, I stated that one of the reasons why Boyhood was not in my top 10 or even in my honorable mentions is because, to face facts, if you were to take away that technique of, I don't want to call it a gimmick, but that technique of shooting it over 12 years with the same actors, you essentially have a very generic coming-of-age story that doesn't have anything very effective or eventful in it that makes you go, holy wow, what a story. Which is why I was a little baffled to see it be nominated for Best Screenplay, because nothing in the screenplay that is of very huge significance happens. You know, no particular character dies, no character goes through a particular arc. It's just like and even the Richard Linklater stated this. It's like a series of mini movies over 12 years. And sure, that sometimes that's how life is, but you know, we also have our moments in life where we're even like, wow, this is something out of a movie, and you could have at least used 1 or 2 examples of that and put that into the movie to give that extra oomph, but it didn't. So that's why I'm not picking Boyhood as my personal pick, but I definitely see it winning Best Picture at the Oscars this year. And that does it. I'm so glad I'm done, because these things are somewhat grueling, especially putting on this suit, doing this hair. That's it, you know, I'm going off the rails, man. I'm just like Birdman. I'm just gonna like take off my clothes and everything. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys' picks and predictions for this year's Academy Awards are. if you guys even give a shit, because I know that these things are somewhat of a popularity contest, but they are a bit like my Super Bowl, so to speak. Everybody's got their own little event that they like to tune in every year, and for me, it's the Oscars. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch it this year, considering that my work sometimes interferes with that. So if I have this Sunday off, sure, I'll be watching it. But if not, then this is probably going to be the first year that I'm going to be missing out on the Oscars, unfortunately. But considering how things have gotten over the years, I don't feel like I'll be missing much. But anyways, thanks for watching not only this particular installment, but also the previous two, if you did see those. And in the comments below, let me know what you guys think is going to be, how the ceremony is going to be, how Neil Patrick Harris is going to host, and what are your picks and predictions for this year's Academy Awards, and who do you think should have gone nominated, besides the Lego Movie. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.